In this program, we will cover the placement and location of signs in general. Then we will look more specifically at their placement and location in three areas: urban, rural, and freeways. The term placement refers to the distance from the traveled lane. In other words, the lateral and vertical placement from the roadway, as well as advanced distance from the target traffic condition. There are two basic rules for placement. Make sure a sign is within the driver's cone of vision so that it will command attention, and make sure it is properly positioned with respect to the point, object, or situation it applies to so that it will convey the proper meaning. The term location refers to how and where signs are situated. It addresses a variety of applications. The rule here is that if a sign is legible and located properly, a driver traveling at normal speed will have adequate time to make a proper response. Generally, signs are placed on the right-hand side of the road, except for special cases like left-hand exits or for special emphasis, islands, and T intersections. In addition to these general rules, there are standard principles that govern all placement and location. They include overhead installations. This kind of installation is reserved for situations where the driver's view is obstructed and for freeway lane control. Sign height practice. Sign height in rural areas is usually 1.5 meters to the bottom of the sign. Urban and freeway signs should be higher, about 2.1 meters. Lateral clearance. There should be maximum practical lateral clearance to protect vehicles which may leave the road and hit a sign support. The recommended distance from the road is 1.8 meters from the edge of the shoulder. If there is no shoulder, the sign should be 3.7 meters from the edge of the traveled way. Sign position. A warning sign should be placed in advance of the condition it warns about. A regulatory sign should be placed where the regulation begins. Guide signs should be placed so they provide drivers with adequate exit preparation time. Sign erection. Normally, signs are placed at right angles to the roadway. If they are 9.1 meters or more from the edge of the pavement, they may be turned toward the road. Also, if reflection is a problem, they may be turned or even tilted. Common locations of warning signs include abrupt changes in horizontal alignment requiring drivers to reduce their speed, ahead of intersections, in advance of control devices like signals, before converging traffic lanes, prior to grades, in advance of roadway surface irregularities, before narrow roadways, and ahead of entrances and crossings. Warning signs are for the benefit of drivers, so their placement is critical. The driver must have time to see them, understand them, decide what to do, and react. Signs may require lane changes, stopping, or decelerating. The general rule is 3 to 10 seconds warning time, depending on the posted or 85th percentile speed. Let's look more closely at the urban setting, specifically local streets, major streets, and arterials. Local streets are those in a residential area. Local street signs are either at mid-block or at intersections. The most important signs at an intersection are stop and yield signs. A stop sign should be put at the point where the vehicle is to stop or as near to there as possible. Stop signs are used for unsignalized intersections in a signalized area. A yield sign should be put where the vehicle is to stop, if necessary, to yield the right-of-way. If there is a marked crosswalk, these signs should be put 1.2 meters in advance of the crosswalk line nearest the approaching traffic. If there will be only one sign at the intersection, it should be on the right-hand side. Wider streets, channelized intersections, or one-way roads should have a second sign on the left as well. A critical non-intersection sign is the speed limit sign. These signs are put up under two conditions. First, whenever the speed limit changes. Second, additional signs should be put up if drivers need to be reminded of the speed limit. A major street in an urban area is one that connects neighborhoods. Stop, yield, and speed limit sign placement is the same there as for local streets. Stop signs should be used when a side street enters a through highway or street. They are also used at an unsignalized intersection where a combination of high speed, restricted view, and accidents indicate a need. The yield sign is used at a minor flow street entrance to an urban intersection. In addition, certain major street intersections require turn prohibition signs. These signs should be placed where they can be seen most easily by drivers intending to turn. No right turn signs should be placed either overhead or on the right-hand corner of the intersection. If there is a signal, the sign can be placed adjacent to the signal face viewed by drivers in the right lane. For no left turns, the opposite placement is required. For no turn signs, use two signs, one on the right-hand corner of the intersection and the other on the left-hand corner. Parking signs with arrows are commonly used in non-intersection situations. These signs should be set at a 30 to 45 degree angle with the direction of traffic. Arterials are major four-lane roads that carry large volumes of traffic across town. Intersections on these roads may require a variety of additional signs. Pedestrian signs may include those that instruct how to activate signals or warn about when to cross the street. Signs for drivers at these intersections may clarify signal control. They include left on green arrow only, stop here on red, do not block intersection, and no right turn on red. These intersections also have lane use signs. These signs are used for safety in single lanes or to control dual lanes and increase the capacity of an intersection. They may be mounted on posts or over the lane they apply to. A post-mounted double turn sign should be located on the right curb for double right turns and on the left side of the street for double left turns. Warning signs have their own requirements for placement. They must provide time for the driver to perceive a hazardous situation, identify it as such, decide on the correct avoidance maneuver, and perform the maneuver. This time may vary from 3 to 10 seconds. To determine the location for a warning sign, an engineer should consult a table. The table is based on required driver responses, such as recognition, detection, and required maneuver. It considers a range of driving tasks encountered at various speeds. By matching the variables, the engineer can determine the minimum placement distance required. In a rural setting, the concern is with intersections and non-intersections. The stop sign is used at the intersection of a minor road with a major road, when using a yield sign would be hazardous. At intersections, in addition to the stop sign, there may be a need for stop ahead signs. These signs are used when the stop sign cannot be seen from enough distance for the driver to stop safely. The yield ahead sign is used under similar circumstances. These signs are used when a minor road intersects a major one, and the safe approach speed in the minor road is greater than 15 kilometers per hour. The signal ahead sign is used when a driver cannot see at least 2 signal indications. The crossroad sign is used to warn of an obscured crossroad intersection. It normally is not used if the intersection has other route signs. A side road sign is used for the same reasons as the crossroad sign. The T symbol sign is used to warn drivers that they must make either a right or a left turn. It is used only when there is no stop before turning. It should not be used if the intersection is channelized, if there is junction signing, or if advanced turn arrows are present. A Y symbol sign is used for Y intersections. The same rules apply for this sign as for the T intersection sign. There is quite a variety of non-intersection signs in rural areas. They include yield signs at the entrance ramp to a freeway where there is no acceleration lane, reduced speed ahead signs, curve signs, reverse turn signs to mark 2 turns or a curve and a turn in opposite directions, winding road signs to warn of 3 or more turns or curves, large arrow signs to warn of sharp changes in direction. These signs must be visible for at least 300 meters to be effective. They are put on the outside of a curve or the far side of an intersection. Divided highway signs are put ahead of a section of roadway separated by a physical barrier. No passing zone signs put on the left side of 2-lane roads, and route markers. Freeways have 4 areas needing signing: non-interchange areas, interchange approaches, interchanges, and service or feeder roads. The gore area at interchanges always has a sign in the area between the main roadway and the ramp. This sign indicates the exit point. All gore areas should be treated the same, so drivers can rely on guide information. Exit numbering should be sequential and based on milepost numbers. Signs at interchange approaches include merge signs and advance guide signs. For major and intermediate interchanges, 2 and preferably 3 advance guide signs should be used. They should be put 300, 600, and 1200 meters before the exit. This placement allows the driver to make complex decisions regarding which route to take. All guide signs beside the road should be at least 2.1 meters above the pavement. There are no rigid criteria for lateral placement, but signs should not be closer than 60 centimeters from the edge of a surface suitable for normal or emergency use by vehicles. Overhead signs should be at least 5.2 meters above the pavement. Certain bridges and tunnels may require lower signs. Let's see how the interchange and interchange approach signs work together. The driver has seen the 3.2 kilometer and 1.6 kilometer approach signs. Now the 0.8 kilometer advance guide sign appears. Then, at the exit, a gore sign guides the way down the ramp. Between interchanges or in non-interchange areas, there are route markers, rest area signs, and distance signs. Normally, distances to the same destination should not be shown at less than 0.8 kilometer intervals. Motorist service signs should be located 250 meters from an interchange. They should never obstruct the view of other traffic control devices. These signs should be at least 250 meters apart and 250 meters from other traffic control devices. In this program, we have covered the placement and location of signs in 3 areas: urban, rural, and freeways. If a sign is legible and located properly, a driver traveling at normal speed will have adequate time to make a proper response. Sign height practice. Sign height in rural areas is usually 1.5 meters. Urban and freeway signs should be higher, about 2.1 meters. Lateral clearance. There should be maximum practical lateral clearance to protect drivers who may leave the road and hit a sign support. The recommended distance from the road is 1.8 to 3.6 meters. In both urban and rural settings, the most important signs at an intersection are stop and yield signs. A stop sign should be put at the point where the vehicle is to stop or as near to there as possible. Stop signs are used for unsignalized intersections in a signalized area. A yield sign should be put where the vehicle is to stop, if necessary, to yield the right of way. If there is a marked crosswalk, these signs should be put 1.2 meters in advance of the crosswalk line, nearest the approaching traffic. A critical mid-block sign is the speed limit sign. These signs are put up under 2 conditions. First, whenever the speed limit changes. Second, additional signs should be put up if drivers need to be reminded of the speed limit. Signs for drivers at arterial road intersections may clarify signal control. They include left on green arrow only, stop here on red, and do not block intersection. These signs should be put on the appropriate signal head. These intersections also have lane use signs. At rural intersections, in addition to the stop and yield signs, there may be a need for stop, yield, and signal ahead signs. These signs are used when the stop sign cannot be seen from enough distance for the driver to stop safely. On a freeway, all guide signs beside the road should be at least 2.1 meters above the pavement. There is no rigid criteria for lateral placement, but signs should not be closer than 5.2 meters from the edge of a surface suitable for normal or emergency use by vehicles. Overhead signs should be at least 5.2 meters above the pavement. Certain bridges and tunnels may require lower signs. Interchange and interchange approach signs are placed to allow the driver a maximum amount of time to make decisions on which route to take. The driver sees the 3.2 kilometer and 1.6 kilometer approach signs. Then the 0.8 kilometer advance guide sign appears. At the exit, a gore sign guides the way down the ramp. For more information on the placement and location of signs, check the manual on uniform traffic control devices or other similar documents. For more information on other IRF videotapes, call the International Road Federation at the numbers on your screen.